Are you okay, Buster Wolf?
Neo, 4 white buttons and 2 joysticks. Neo, cool red cabinet, name that stick. Neo, 4 white buttons and 2 joysticks. Neo, cool red cabinet, name that stick.
Hey guys, it's me, the Neo Geo Fanatic, here to bring you something special once again. This time we're taking a look at a series, not a single game, but an awesome series. It is called the Real Bout Fatal Fury series, which spanned from 1995 to 1998. And basically it's a continuation of the Fatal Fury storyline that we know and love. Or if you never heard of it, then that doesn't apply to you. Fatal Fury is a story of vengeance, which involves a powerful crime boss named Geese Howard who killed a boy's father, and that boy's name was Terry Bogard. Terry swore revenge to kill Geese Howard in a fighting tournament that Geese has organized to get money for himself for political power. I don't really know the reason. Whatever the reason that Geese Howard started this tournament may be, he's still a freaking badass that is a force to be reckoned with. And basically, the Real Bout Fatal Fury series is a continuation of that storyline and a final conclusion of what happens to Geese Howard and Southtown. It is freaking awesome. Fun fact, you would not have the King of Fighters series, which is SNK's most popular franchise, if it wasn't for Fatal Fury. Fatal Fury is the original King of Fighters. Real Bout is a continuation of Fatal Fury, and King of Fighters existed around the same time that Real Bout was out, between 95 and 98. And KOF came out in 94. But if it wasn't for the Fatal Fury series, King of Fighters would never freaking exist. So let's take a look at the first game, Real Bout Fatal Fury, which is the 5th episode of the saga. Let's do it. So here's the intro to Real Bout Fatal Fury, where you have all your characters in one place. And it's very cartoony, but that's very familiar with the Fatal Fury series. There's nothing wrong or unusual with it. And boom, Terry Bogard's star. Pretty rockin'. 5th edition. Get ready. So let's get this party started. And as you can see, the roster's not really that big. You have 16 characters to choose from, but for a rebout, or reboot, whatever you want to call it, that's a pretty good start. And it's really neat too, you actually fight in one stage against 3 characters at a time. And it's very unique, instead of like going from one character to like a completely different stage each time, you actually have 3 in the same stage. And as you can see, wow, there's a guy that looks like Jackie Chan with nunchucks. That is freaking awesome. Hanfu for the win. God! And after you fight every 3 characters, you have a cutscene showing that Geese is watching you on TV, ready to take some names. And here's the next 3. Joe Higashi. Another thing worth mentioning, Real Bout Fatal Fury has the same mechanics as Fatal Fury 3. There's not much has been changed. However, one thing that's really interesting about this game is you can actually do ring outs. Kick your opponent off the ring and you automatically win. See, I kicked them on the train thing. Here's a few examples of some crazy ass ring outs that they have in this game. Ringouts in this game are freaking hilarious. However, there is a problem with this. It is very easy to ring out yourself. And yeah, that could pose a big problem. So now the final battle of fate begins. Terry Bogard pointing his finger at the sky. And Geese Howard all fucking high and mighty up there. Let the battle begin. Dun dun dun! Please enjoy watching me kick Geese Howard's ass. So now the drama begins. Geese Howard is now about to fall to his death. But wait! Terry Bogard reaches his hand, but Geese rejects it and falls to his death. The end. I have to say that was one of the most epic endings ever. Wow. Kudos, Terry Bogard. You tried to do the right thing at the last minute.
Good riddance to bad rubbish.
And here's something very interesting for you die-hard SNK nerds out there. Look at that. That's Rock Howard next to Terry Bogard. He is a playable character in Gargoyle Mark of the Wolves. Really freaking cool. So that was Real Bout Fatal Fury. Finally, Geese Howard is freaking dead for good. Or is he? He's going to pull a Rugal, I just know it. Now we're going to look at a game that came out in 1997 called Real Bout Fatal Fury Special. And this game is special because it's a very non-canon game. Now some people might argue, oh, it is canon, it is part of the storyline. But there's no storyline to it. Like, there's no story element whatsoever. It's basically like a Fatal Fury dream match. And it's cool, though, because you get to fight Wolfgang Krauser at the end. They made a lot of gameplay changes to this game, too. Like, they got rid of the ring outs. Because I guess it was kind of annoying in Real Bout Fatal Fury that you can actually kill your opponent very easily if you know how to like push them against the wall enough. It's probably a good move by SNK at the end of the day though, because those ring outs can get really annoying. Especially if you're playing two-player, you're going to get a lot of fucking rage quits. So Real Bout Fatal Fury Special, since it was released 2 years after Real Bout Fatal Fury, it has better graphics, more fluid animation, and new gameplay elements as well. It's worth a look. So here's the introduction of Real Bout Fatal Fury Special. Terry Bogard getting his ass kicked. He's tired. He's a lone wolf, but he's getting his ass kicked. And there's Krauser looking all badass. Fucking German wannabe. Alright. Real Bout Fatal Fury Special. Begin. So here's the character select screen, and as you can see, there's a huge improvement with the character roster. It is a lot bigger than Real Bout Fatal Fury. I'm going to choose Kim instead of Terry Bogard this time because, little do you guys know, Kim is actually one of my favorite characters of all time. He is a Taekwondo Master of Justice. Bring it. I'm going to fight Han Fu again, Jackie Chan with nunchucks. It's pretty neat that you can select your opponent right from the get-go instead of having it randomized. Two really cool features I really appreciate about this game is the fact that there's a really awesome announcer, and every time a stage begins you have a special little intro. Like, you saw a Korean flag there, and it was just waving. I thought that was a unique twist on it. Also, even though you don't have ring outs in this game, you still have destructible environments. Like, for example, see that thing move around? That's pretty cool. But you don't have to worry about wringing them out that way. They really done away with that, and that's a good thing. Another thing that they did in this game that was pretty cool is they went back to the roots of Fatal Fury 2 and Fatal Fury Special, where you can actually have two different planes of fighting, where you can fight in the background or the foreground. It's pretty cool. It adds a 3D element. And unlike Real Bout Fatal Fury, instead of fighting 3 people on the same stage, you only fight 1. They made a lot of gameplay tweaks to this, and it went back to more of a feel of King of Fighters. However, in Fatal Fury, the special moves each character pulls off is a lot more cooler looking than King of Fighters, in my opinion at least. So now we fight the big boss man himself, Wolfgang Krauser, who looks like a cross between Superman, Charles Manson, and Hulk Hogan, if you could believe that. Oh my god, he's so badass. Final boss of the game. Now listen really close to the background music. This is the most epic theme ever. It is freaking Mozart! Nothing, but nothing screams badass like Wolfgang Krauser. And you beat him and the game ends. Simple as that. There is, however, a secret final boss at the end of this game if you meet a certain criteria. Nightmare Geese. However, I did not get the chance to fight him because I didn't meet that criteria. So, I'll show you Geese anyway. Whoa!
Waka 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 woo!
Here's another fun fact. In Japan, they released a PS1 game called Real Bout Fatal Fury Special Dominated Mind, which is basically the same exact thing as Real Bout Fatal Fury Special, but with added characters, and a new antagonist named White. He's the final boss of the game, and I swear to God, he was flat out inspired by Alex from The Clockwork Orange. It is crazy. But he's the ending guy, and I guess there's some storyline element to that, surprisingly. Now let's look at the Real Bout game that came out in 1998. Real Bout Fatal Fury 2. And this game is really cool, even though it's still non-canon, storyline elements totally not even there. But they added new characters like Zhang Fei, Rick Stroud, and Alfred Earhawk. And it's a dream match again, basically, where you have all your Fatal Fury characters battling each other one-on-one, and you fight the bosses, which are Wolfgang Krauser once again, Geese Howard, and also you have a hidden character at the end of the game called Alfred Earhawk. The graphics are really updated in this, and it is beautiful. Like, this is the best graphics the Fatal Fury series has seen until Garou Mark of the Wolves that came out in 1999. But that's a different topic. Another thing that's really cool is all the characters have their own stages. Now that is pretty awesome. I mean, more variety for a game. Great. So let's take a look at it. So here's the intro of Real Bout Fatal Fury 2. Got a little epic vibe going on. There's Rick Stroud, one of the newcomers. Wow. Nice CGI there. 3D! It's in 3D! What the fuck? Crazy. So here's a character select screen, and this is the biggest roster that Fatal Fury has ever seen. Biggest in history. And this game doesn't mess around. It says get in the fucking ring. And it throws you, your opponents. And yes, I'm being Terry again. And I'm fighting Terry. It's a clone match! Oh no! Freaking clones! The animation style in this is beautiful, and it is just a gorgeous game. And it's really cool. And it actually went back to its roots. Like, you have the option of choosing, like the 2-plane system, or you can also play it on the 1-plane system depending on the level. So it gives you a little bit of variety based on that. Pretty cool. Another thing I really appreciate about this game is the fact that every character in this game has his or her own stage. It is really nice and it adds to the character as well. It makes them feel more lively, I guess. The secret character of the game, Alfred Airhawk, can be selected after you beat him by clicking a certain button on Terry Bogard. Wow, he has goggles just like mine. Huh. So, here's some moves that Alfred Airhawk has. Pretty cool name. I like Airhawk. Sounds cool. See, he does a lot of diving attacks because, hey, he looks like a pilot. I guess he is a pilot. He has, like, crazy pilot gear on and a scarf and goggles. And, yeah, that's Alfred Airhawk. He's pretty cool.
I really like that character, Alfred Airhawk. He was a really unique character. He had goggles just like this. It's a shame that he didn't see the light of day after Real Bout Fatal Fury 2. But, hey, I think he stole my goggles, and if you put 2 and 2 together, the fact that I have the goggles on my head, and he's not going to see the light of day again, think about this. He has disappeared from the limelight. Nowhere to be seen. Totally disappeared from the gaming world. And I have his goggles. Put 2 and 2 together. I have his goggles and Alfred Airhawk is missing. Put 2 and 2 together. Alright, yeah, all kidding aside, Alfred Airhawk was a cool character. I think the biggest difference between all 3 games that set them apart is how you fight in the games. Like the planes of battle that they had. Let's take a look at examples right here.
So here's what we got here. On the top screen we have Real Bout Fatal Fury. The bottom left you have Real Bout Fatal Fury Special. And the bottom right you have Real Bout Fatal Fury 2. So on the top, Real Bout Fatal Fury, you have 3 planes where you can move from. But you can only stay at each plane for a certain period of time, basically only for 1 attack. Then if you look at the bottom left, you basically have 2 planes, where you can actually continuously fight on both planes equally. And then if you look on the bottom right, you only have 1 plane, which is basically the typical fighting game plane. Like, King of Fighters. Pretty cool stuff.
So that's a look at the Real Bout Fatal Fury series, one of my favorite fighting game series of all time. I love it. It's just nostalgic. That's the only word I could use to describe how awesome it is. It's very innovative for its time, using a 3-plane system, a 2-plane system, and it's really cool. Memorable characters like Kim, who happens to be one of my favorite characters of all time, Terry Bogard, tons of memorable characters that made it into the KOF series. The King of Fighters used tons of characters from the Fatal Fury series, and I really appreciate that, because King of Fighters is basically the evolution of Fatal Fury. And you gotta start somewhere. Loved it. Great game. Take care, guys.